Some 3 years ago, I stood on this spot just about to watch the first Avengers movie, Avengers Assemble in the UK. Why they did that, I will never know, but here I am, almost 3 years to the day later, and I'm about to go watch Avengers Age of Ultron, or for those who want things simplified, Avengers 2. I don't understand why people don't do numbers anymore, you know, it doesn't make any sense to me. Everyone's back, and of course I'm supporting the invincible Iron Man, the charismatic and ever irreplaceable Tony Stark, played by the ever so wonderful Robert Downey Jr. And by the way, props to you for what you did in that interview, walking away and showing that lack of professionalism on their part. Apparently there's going to be an evolved Hulk from this movie, so I don't know how Mark Ruffalo is going to play this. And there's an implied romance between the Black Widow and Bruce Banner that will be intriguing to see, and I think there's going to be a little bit of conflict from what Marvel have been doing, showing in the clips. And this has to be said, and I'm going to address this now, why is there such a need to have multiple trailers, TV spots and clips? I mean, if you showed one teaser, one trailer and a 2-minute clip, that's fine, you know, because then you're not showing the whole damn movie. But we're living in an age where we go into the cinema these days and get to see like the first 10 minutes of How to Train Your Dragon 2. You know, do we really need that? I'm going to be interested to see how they play this version of Ultron, because as we all know, Ultron was created by Hank Pym, aka Ant-Man, but for whatever reason, Tony Stark is the originator of it in this one, so it'll be intriguing to see how they do this. But that said, this is not the first time Tony Stark has created Ultron. For those that saw the direct-to-DVD movie Avengers Next, Stark was actually the one who created him then. But we'll see. In about 2.5 hours, will this be the Age of Ultron, or the age of a sequel that shouldn't have been made? We'll find out. Until then, Avengers Assemble. Welcome to the extended review. There are a few things that I didn't really get into topic about. Like I've mentioned, with the plot for this one, there was a sense of there was a price to pay for the actions that the protagonist make. I mean, in his mind, Tony Stark thinks he's doing the right thing for mankind, that the Avengers cannot go on forever because there will have to come a time where they will have to pass the baton and the responsibility of protecting the Earth to a new generation. And Tony has this already in his mind that, you know, there are going to be some things that they cannot respond to. So therefore, that is where the Ultron program comes into play. But Ultron has this thinking, wait, you're bringing me in to be your servants? No, I don't like that. I've seen what your wars have done to the planet. I'm going to go with this plan because I think this is better. Which, unfortunately, he's going with the somewhat of the logic that Tony has implanted into him, but he's taking it to extreme measures, and that does no one any favours. The writing in regards to the satire is particularly good when you see Hulk spit out a tooth after going 8 rounds with like an iron Mike Tyson, which is unsurprising because I think Mike Tyson would like to have that kind of tech available, and you just see this look on his face and Tony's like, I'm sorry. It's like he knows what's coming. There was a running gag throughout the movie where, at the start of the movie, Iron Man drops an S-bomb because he failed to meet one of his targets, and Cap quickly quips, language. And it's just this little thing that all the other characters pick up upon this, to where just towards the end of the movie, Steve just says out loud after seeing the helicarrier rise out from the clouds, Fury, you son of a bitch, goes, ooh, you kiss your mother with that mouth? And it's like, I see where you're going with that. But that is something that a man like Captain America would say, because he comes from a time in the 1940s where not too many people would step out of line and say things like that. Every character in this pretty much has their own agenda, you know, their own kind of reasons for doing what they're doing, and it gets revealed that Hawkeye actually has a family, but he didn't want S.H.I.E.L.D. to know about that, and I think considering the kind of operations that S.H.I.E.L.D. undertake, I think it was wise to keep that off the books. I really liked the way Elizabeth Olsen played the Scarlet Witch. She has an axe to grind because of, you know, the loss of her parents, along with Quicksilver, who I have to say, Aaron Taylor-Johnson did a first-grade job of playing Quicksilver. You know, he's a little bit cocky, but you'd expect someone to have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder when they're running at the pace of Sonic the Hedgehog. And having said that, I wonder if Sony are going to have that kind of movement for the Sonic movie next year, which I'll be intrigued to see what they do with that. Again, this was a really decent follow-up, and I think this is one of Joss Whedon's best movies to date, because, you know, the characters have their own banter and whatnot, the way they play off each other and rib each other, and, you know, that was just cool to watch. And, you know, Robert Downey Jr. is just first class once more as Tony Stark, even with Scarlet Witch messing with his head earlier in the movie. You do see that he wants to do something that's actually going to benefit and protect mankind, rather than, you know, not do anything. But the problem is a bit of a Pandora's box, where even when he's trying to do something good, it ultimately backfires in his face, which is what happens with Ultron. With Paul Bettany playing Jarvis, and actually, you know, and then playing a physical role in The Vision, you do see the naivete that the character has, because when he comes into this as the Vision, he's neither a creation of Ultron nor as Jarvis, but there is an amalgamation of the two. I'm not particularly happy that Jarvis is no longer a presence as Tony Stark's artificial intelligence, but there are times where you have to evolve, move forward and progress, and I liked that he had another AI presence whilst he's in the suit, because I'm guessing the suit cannot operate without some sort of artificial intelligence to assist him in what he does. Downey and Ruffalo really play off each other well. I mean, everybody calls it the bromance of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I don't know if I would have gone that far, but there is definite decent chemistry between the two, in the sense of they complement each other as a scientific team. I like the idea that Black Widow gets the Hulk to be calmed and turned back into Banner by what they call the lullaby, where it's the gentle, feminine touch of Natasha Romanoff actually sends Hulk into sleep. You do see the kind of disposition that Banner is in. He wants so much to have some form of companionship, but he knows what will happen if he allows himself to drop his guard or get too excited or get upset, and, you know, it causes problems, so many problems, like what happens in the fight with Hulk and the Hulkbuster armor, which is so cool to see. It's like I say, is when you see, I know I'm repeating myself and I apologize for this, but it's when you see Hulk spit the tooth out, and you just see Stark's face like, I'm sorry, because he knows what's coming. Danny Elfman did a really decent score with this movie, and I'm not normally a huge fan of Danny Elfman, but I did feel like he produced something that was on par with quality with that of the 1989 Batman movie score, and that movie in total is just iconic. You know, there's something to be said, and like I say, not normally a huge fan of his, but every once in a while he pulls something decent out of the hat, and he definitely delivered on this occasion. Visual effects, I was very impressed. I felt there were a couple of times where the Iron Man suit looked a little bit too fake and not really that photorealistic, so that's one little... It's not a huge markdown, it's just something I felt they could have taken a little more time to polish up on, if you will. But yeah, I definitely give this movie a grade A awesome plus. It's just that much of a good movie, and it's much better than the first one. And by that token and that statement, I'm not saying for 1 second that the first movie is terrible. No, 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 no. The first movie is amazing and has so much of a rewatch value, but the second movie just takes it to another level in terms of the depth, the intensity, and and with the sense of there are consequences for every action that we take, and maybe that's something we can all learn from. But yeah, signing off from inside the studio, this is MJ Knight, signing off.